travelogues, you got travel guides, you got self-improvement, management books. Those sell very well also, but that I'm talking about literature. And like for this this bookshop, for instance, I've been coming here for many years, and every time I see the space devoted to books is diminishing. I mean, here you got the big noisy cafeteria there, you got a lot of toys being sold, you got chocolates being sold there, you got pens being sold, they're selling linen also. I'm sure they'll be selling fruits and vegetables also here, which might be a good idea. I mean, eat a golden delicious apple will go well with War and Peace, or buy 2 Mills and Boons and you get a cauliflower free. You see, I'm not disparaging this bookshop. Basically, a shop will store what people want to buy. So then if people want to buy all this, they will store this. And this is happening across, wherever you go, you see the same trend happening. These are not like the bookshops you saw earlier, which used to sell only books. No, but I still think that regarding literature, at least semi-serious literature, serious literature, the trend is declining. And, but anyway, so the point is, I mean, if people don't read books, that will always beg the question, why do I write at all? Why do I bother to write? That is because I've got nothing else to do. No, really, I don't know what else to do with my life. What to do with life? You got a job, but you can do something beyond the job. So I write. And there's always that, that basic, that inherent, that genetic sort of urge, that vanity that comes from within, that you're doing something meaningful. That what you're doing is you're pushing forward the frontier of ideas, you are putting a face in front of society, and in the process you are making things better. Then, but anyway, I'm sure most of you won't read this book, but do buy a copy. Do buy a copy. Because writers, they need to, even authors, writers, they need to survive. And the publisher has promised me very generously that I'll get 7% royalty for every copy that you buy. And you can do a lot of things with the book. It'll look good on your shelf, it'll look good on your coffee table. You can frame it and hang it on a wall. And it's got a nice, like Vinod said, it's got a nice shiny red cover. Yeah. And you'll agree that one reason why I chose this color is because some people who read the book are going to see red. So it is symbolic. And it's a big book, it's a thick book. It's 401 pages. It's about 120,000 words. And a lot of those words are good words. So it's a heavyish book. You can use it as a paperweight. You can squash insects with it, like that. It's multi-purpose. You don't have to read it. And it's good value for money. So do buy a copy. And so anyway, I think I'll just about end here. I thank you all for coming. A special thank to the panelists. And if I manage to shock the former editor of Debonair, that means this book is going to do well. And Dolly, as usual, I gave her some passages to read. She more or less ignored those, but she picked out much better passages that brings out the crux of the book. And Orna, she came from Israel this morning. She's tired, she's jet-lagged, and she wrote down pages in a notebook very appropriately called Think. She really thought of it. And Vinod, I think I've thanked you enough, but even
you're thanking
but
enough.
even then, probably I may not be.
Yeah, I know. You're not getting away so easily.
By the way, Vinod, I'd like to add, since I think Sumit feels that my only reaction was of shock, that is not so. I mentioned that only in the context of one particular passage, but so much of your writing is lyrical, and that is not something I expected, in the quieter passages. It's really lyrical, and it is the writing of a writer, and I would commend that.
So it's taken us quite a bit of persuasion to get Mr. Sumit Mullick to talk about. He actually, when we were coming here this evening, he said, I'm absolutely not going to talk about the book at all. I'm going to talk about literature in general. But then It is also very interesting repartee going on with Anil at the same time. It's good. It's good. You're allowed to do that, Anil, sometimes. Is there? I know most of you have not read the book, and I fully understand that.
We're not taking questions.
Sorry, you have no choice. Is there anything that any of you who've been here for some time and have known Sumit, known him through your work, through the work that your interaction, not connected with his work, also want to ask him a question about being a writer? You've got a French intellectual sitting in front. And the French always have intellectual questions. Monsieur Jean-Raphael. Tell him what his face is like.
Jean Raphael, he asked me a very good question. Where do I find time to read books?
To write.
Oh, write books. Write books. So, basically, if you got to do it, you got to do it. That's it. If you got to go, you got to go. No two ways about it. You'll find time. Right? You got to sort of will yourself. Sorry? You're not sleeping at work. Not sleeping at work. No. No. So then work will suffer. I mean, I could have worked much better, but then also, I mean, you got to sort of understand where your priorities lie in life. So priority is the book, not the job.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
So you spoke about literature. Which other authors do you admire and why?
I don't know anything for great.
Tell us a bit about your influences.
For great literature, basically I've been only going to one source, which I've been reading for many decades now, which is The Economist. It's brilliant writing. The writing there is brilliant. It's got in-depth, tremendous humor. It's to the point, and it's pure literature for me. But the only thing is I don't know these economist writers. They're all incognito. If you ever let me know where I can find one. I'll shake his hand. Why not fiction? What else?
You know, it is fiction, but it relates to almost every experience that many of us go through. Whether we are reading a newspaper or watching television or in encounters with our friends, every story in it, every emotion in it is very, very real. So he may call it fiction, but actually it's quite personal for many of us.
Okay, all right. So going once, going twice, gone. Before you go, please buy a copy. Please buy several copies and give them to all the people who come and visit you from your various countries. It'll show you're erudite, it'll show you're well-connected, and it'll also give Sumit his much-needed royalties. So thank you very much. Can we just have a round of applause to this wonderful man called Sumit Mullick. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.